Here for their first daytime exclusive. Welcome Amanda Knox and her husband, Christopher Robinson. Thank you both for joining me today. I have to start off with congratulations. You were married in the quarantine, a big leap of faith to say the least. Amanda, I was told that you had an escape room theme. And for people who don't know, escape room, it's a game where you go into a room and you try to figure out a way to escape. And that, Amanda, Christopher, it stopped me in my tracks. I'm like, wait a minute. She has spent years trying to escape being convicted in prison, escape the media scrutiny, escape all of these other parts, and then you incorporate it into a part of the wedding. Unpack that for me, Amanda. Because why? I guess is the question.
No one was actually locked in the wedding venue. It was more of a puzzles and games wedding. So the idea being that all of our friends and family had to come from across space and time to help us restitch our time streams together. It was time travel themed, and we had a bunch of puzzles
Well,
at every
that makes it
table.
even more interesting. A time travel theme. If you could turn back time to quote, share, would you have ever studied abroad?
Yes, I still think that studying abroad is a really, really important experience. And what happened to me was an incredible extreme. This is an extreme that happens whether you're studying abroad or not. It happens here in the United States. And what is, you know, I
I
mean,
mean, and also wrongful convictions happen all over the world.
Yeah.
They
yeah.
happen here just as much as they happen in Italy.
I guess what I was saying, Christopher and Amanda, is not the abroad part of it. Like, if you could turn back time and never made that decision to um, go there, study the apartment, all of those details, would you erase that part of your life completely?
I would say no.
Wow.
I mean, obviously, I wouldn't want to relive through the worst experience of my life over again, but it definitely has made me the person that I am today.
Hmm.
And I definitely feel that I have greatly benefited from having my eyes opened
Wow.
to a whole world of experience that I didn't have access to before.
That's
I
incredible.
came from a very safe background and I never had to think about the criminal justice system. So for me to have lived alongside people who were guilty and not guilty, to have seen how unjust the criminal justice system can be, really, really impacted me and has impacted my life going forward.
Christopher, you dated Amanda for 4 years before getting married. I remember seeing a photo of the two of you, and it was announced that, Amanda Knox is dating and is in love. And I thought, this guy really has to love her to be willing to face what you, from the minute your picture was made public, what you had signed up for. Had you thought through what you were signing up for just to go out on a date with the Amanda Knox?
I didn't really know all the story of everything that happened in Italy when we first met. And I made a conscious decision not to Google her because I knew as soon as I told anybody, oh, hey, I'm going on a date with Amanda, the first question they would ask me was, what do you think? Did she do it? And it's like, okay, like you're viewing this person through this media tabloid lens, and through this lens of suspicion and, all the salacious nonsense. And I don't want to see her that way. I want to see her as a human being. I want to see her for who she is. So I made that decision up front to not step into that media world when getting to know her. And we were able to connect on a person-to-person level because of that. Eventually, I had to become an expert in all the details of the case because the ramifications of those years in Italy are still impacting her.
Was it an act of courage to face the pain, to face potentially being arrested even, or is it still the attempt to get people to believe that you did not kill Meredith Kercher, your roommate?
For me, it was a kind of coming full circle. I have deeply had my heart set on returning to Italy and telling my side of the story because I was never really offered the chance to do so. And it was truly coming face to face with what I was most scared of. And I knew that the reason I was scared was unfair and unjust. And I tend to be the kind of person who likes to face what I'm afraid of,
Right.
I don't want to feel like I'm running for the rest of my life from
Mm.
something I didn't do. And so instead of, playing it safe, I did what was deeply, deeply terrifying for me. And I returned.
Mm.
And it honestly has been one of the most rewarding experiences since coming home, next to
Next to getting married.
meeting this guy.
That's a nice save there, Amanda. Nice save. Listen, because you have faced so much, I feel comfortable reading this tweet that just came in. We've been on air 15 minutes, 5 minutes into this show. Shame on you to have the murderess Amanda Knox on your show. And the person then calls me disgusting for having you on the show. An individual was convicted, served time, and police say he did it. But the minute you are on a tweet about your guilt, it's like, I'm going to tell you, I don't know how you do it. And I remember seeing you at the Today Show some years ago. You walked in and you were just tense. And I could tell how guarded. From even virtually, you have grown. Your body language, everything about you is less strained. You've been through it. When I say you're on the other side, what does that mean for you?
I think it means that I'm living a less reactive life and a more proactive life. So, I grew up feeling like a hunted animal. And first of all, can I say that I'm so sorry someone decided to attack you?
Oh, I don't care. I'll delete them. I'm sorry for you. I'll delete them. I'll live to fight another day. Amanda, you and Christopher sent us some video of what it is like day to day in your home as you try to find, I guess the word is normalcy these days. You're cooking, crafting, living the life that you didn't expect to, honestly, if you had not been acquitted. You opened up this summer on your social media about a miscarriage that you experienced as a couple. Why open up that part of your life? Is that healing as well?
Yeah. So what I found is that, especially when it comes to miscarriages, everyone doesn't talk about it unless it's happened to them. And I wanted to normalize the experience. I didn't want to feel like I was contributing to this sense of like shame or secrecy. There's nothing that is more powerful than another person's vulnerability. And whenever it comes to any kind of struggle that we have as human beings, by opening ourselves up to each other, we are actually building bridges that actually make everyone else around us stronger and ourselves stronger. So I found that to be incredibly rewarding, and that's why I chose to share that particularly painful moment for Chris and I.
You mentioned building bridges, and a part of that is this new podcast, Christopher, that you've launched together, Labyrinth. Tell me why the name, why did you choose that title or name for the podcast?
Everyone's on their own personal journey through life, and the twists and turns and dead ends and unexpected shortcuts are very hard to predict. And I think very few of us end up where we expect to end up. And that is glaringly obvious for someone like Amanda, but it's just as true for me as it is for you. And when we talk to people, we find that the journeys they've gone on, from say Dave Navarro, who's may know him as a rock star, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Jane's Addiction, but he's been haunted by the trauma of his mother's murder since he was 15 years old. And that's been informing his whole path. And it's led him to become a trauma advocate now. And that's how we connected with him. So that was totally unexpected for us. When we talked to LeVar Burton, we realized that his life had gone on several different paths where he almost became a priest. He almost got into politics.
Yeah.
And we decided to explore all those could have been lives with him.
Well, congratulations on the podcast. Listen, two of my favorite people, Dave Navarro, LeVar Burton, being on your show definitely makes me tune in. But you know what, Amanda, thank you for facing judgment and living in your truth. I mean, this won't always satisfy people, but in reality, at the end of the day, you have to satisfy your life and your journey. So we appreciate you joining us today.
Thank you so much
Thank you.
for having us and sharing our story. We really appreciate it.